You look so pretty,
Guapa.
both of you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Business Women in Cleaning Live, our weekly live. My name is Carolyn Arellano, and I am the owner of Spotless Cleaning Service. We have my beautiful partners, Carla Carpio from Quality Plus and Miss Raquel Salinas from We Clean Janitorial. And we are going to be doing this live for the next 27 or so minutes, answering a lot of questions that we have been receiving over the last 2 weeks in regards to the cleaning business. Now, the three of us combined have a little bit over, I believe, 56 years of experience in the cleaning industry. Carla and Raquel have been in the industry far longer than I have, and I consider them to be experts in what they do. So I'm happy, we're all going to be actually happy to answer some of your questions. So today we're going to be talking about um, pricing. So we're going to talk about different pricing across the different types of cleanings. A lot of us do residential cleaning, some of us do commercial cleaning, some of us do Airbnb cleaning. And I know that a lot of us want to get into the different types of cleans, but pricing can be an issue. And I'm always going to Carla and Raquel anytime I have a question about pricing for the different cleans that I'm very unfamiliar with. So let's start off with I think let's just start off with residential cleaning, Carla. If you want to talk a little bit about how you price on residential, I know you're all the way in California. I'm on the East Coast. And then we can talk a little bit about like the difference and how we each other price because everybody does it differently. Some people do square footage, some do hourly. So if you want to get into how you price in California when it comes to residential cleaning, and then we can talk a little bit about post construction, Airbnb, that would be awesome.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Carol. I'm so happy to be here, enjoying this platform with Carolyn and Raquel, two of my favorite girls. Raquel, the past, 3 years. Carolyn, the past few months. She's become, she's in my circle now. um, so going to residential, I see this question that goes on with everybody. How much do I charge for residential? How much this? So one of the advices that I can definitely give is the first thing is learn your production rate. That's number one. If you do not know your production rate, you're going to be imitating other companies. And that's one of the things I used to do. So I used to call around and, oh, okay, this company charges, back then for me, it was like what, 35 or $40 an hour. And I wanted to charge, but my numbers never matched up. So I never understood. So I see everybody asking, oh, okay, well, I'm starting my cleaning business and I'm going to start charging 65 or $70 an hour. One, if you're new to the industry, I do not recommend you charging those rates because you're new to the industry. You need to start, building your clientele instead of, focusing on that $70. Why don't you focus maybe dropping it down so you can start building relationships, start building experience? Because if you don't know how to do your production rate, that's how you're going to learn. The way I did it was, I would test myself in my own house. Okay, how much does a restroom, a bathroom actually, and that's one thing you guys have to learn to use a proper vocabulary in residential. In residential, we say bathrooms. We don't call them restrooms. So in my house, I'll time myself. How much does this restroom take me? How much this one? How much does it take me to dust? How much does it take me to dust from top to bottom? So little things like that, I would time myself, and that's how I learned my production rate. So after so many years, because this is another thing that I also noticed, some people will tell me, "Oh, you know what? I don't want my oven cleaning. I don't want my refrigerator cleaning." So what I just did, so I can start eliminating those headaches for myself and also for the customer. When I did a deep cleaning, I would include everything. I wouldn't give an option because the more options you give to your customer, the harder it is for them and even for yourself. So my production rate it just included everything. So on a deep cleaning, my production rate is 200 a square feet, but that includes everything from top to bottom. I don't miss anything on my deep cleaning. But again, so I know that in an hour I clean 200 square feet. and then my hourly, that's when you get your hourly rate. So you say, okay, how much am I going to charge an hourly rate? So your hourly rate, if you're a W-2, you got to make sure you add in your payroll taxes, your workers' comp, liability insurance, your overhead, everything that you pay to run your business. Even if you're just starting, this is my advice to you because I did that mistake at the beginning. I didn't include that. So when I became a boom in residential, I was paying, then I had to get an office and I was always very tight on my numbers. So make sure that you start charging correctly from the beginning. If for example, say, you know what, eventually I'm going to have an office. So just, start charging, start adding up everything. I don't know what state you're in. So make sure that, you have your percentages correctly with your workers' comp, with everything else. For me, everything I'm charging, with our workers' comp and all the insurance and all of the incentives that we get, I'm, calculating about between 40 to 45%. So whatever hourly rate. So for example, if I'm paying an employee $18 an hour. I multiply that by the 40%. That gives me a total number of what I'm actually paying that employee. Plus, I add my overhead, and then I add my percentage of what I want to earn as a profit. So that will give you a final number. So maybe a final number will give you, I don't know, 55, 57. So that's where you'll know your hourly rate. But never give your hourly rate also to the customer. I was in a meeting yesterday with someone, and that's the same thing I told her. Never give your hourly rate because the minute you give the hourly rate to your customer, they're gonna be like, oh my God, I'm paying all this in hourly rate. That's what I make an hourly rate, and maybe they're an executive. So make sure you know how to sell yourself every single time you do that. I hope that helps. If you don't, send me a message and I can go more in depth with you guys with that.
I think that's really important what you said. Having to know your numbers is really important. Also knowing your production rate. How long is it actually going to take you to clean a house,
Yes.
or clean a specific area or an item? And also, I loved what you said about coming down on your pricing when you first start. So even though maybe the competition or the other cleaning businesses in your area are charging $75 an hour per person, starting off even 20 bucks lower. That's what we did. We were at like 45 when everybody was at like 65. So we were $20 less, but it does give you that competitive advantage of being able to take these cleanings and actually get your experience so that you can learn how long each different, area of a home or something is going to take. You can't just come out of the door and price what the competitors are pricing because you don't know what you're doing just yet, right? Like you don't want to give yourself a bad name for overcharging. So what is, and I know you said not to like mention the hourly rate to the client, but as a cleaning business owner in our head, like you said, we have that number because we need to be profitable, know what our overhead is. But in California, what is that going rate or about for residential house cleaning? Because I know
So
California and New York, they're very similar in the cost of living.
correct. Even though I think New York is a little bit more expensive, right? So I've excuse me, I've noticed that the rates here in California, and this is for people that are independent, they are registered as business, but they are independent working solos. They're starting out from like $40 an hour and they're going up to 80 an hour. I've seen those numbers out here in California.
Okay.
Like bigger like probably franchise companies. They're even like 85, 90 an hour.
Yeah.
Yes, and then for
That's a
me, I have a minimum set of hours. We do not go for any type of job, nothing less than 3 hours. It's just not worth it, for me, like our travel time. I don't know what state you are in, but in California, you must pay travel time. Don't try to run a business not the proper way. It will come and hunt you down if you don't do it correctly. So just, that's why it's important to know your numbers from the beginning so it doesn't come back at you after the years. So just make sure you add all that time in between when you're calculating for a job. Make sure you don't, you add that half an hour. When you schedule your houses, make sure that, they're literally like max 10 minutes away. Here in LA, there's always traffic. So, whoever I have in LA, that's the only place I leave them. If I have somebody on the northeast side, then I make sure I only use that team for that side. I don't tend to bring them up and down because that's a lot of, time wasted.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. And then for anyone that is coming from house cleaning, so like we know as a kind of like across the board, house cleaning is usually you can charge more for, because the scope of work is different, because it is so much more difficult. And I think that's why a lot of us like to do, get into the commercial more. But if you could, Raquel, talk to us a little bit about how pricing, it's because it's a completely different animal, pricing commercial cleaning. And a lot of people, they're very intimidated. Either they're cleaning houses and they want to do commercial, or the other way around. People get very intimidated by the different pricing. So if you could also, give us some of your professional advice on what it's like to quote commercial, and how that works out. Because some people like to do square foot, some people like to do hourly, some people they kind of guess.
Mhm. Well, thank you, everyone. Hello to everyone. I'm gonna a little bit talk about just a small portion of the my experience with the residential too, and then I'm gonna add that a
Yeah.
commercial. The structure that I have for the residential long time ago, even though I don't longer do residential, I just decided to just stay commercial. I was structuring, depending on the customer. Some customers they don't like for us to clean the whole house. So we used to have like an application, where they used to schedule what do they want us to do. Just like a Carla say, we will not do anything minimum 3 hours or 2 hours and a half, and then also depends on the route that we were having. So in my case, I was using kind of like a commercial formula, meaning I was doing the job. I would, like Carla say, we never mentioned the by hour to them, just for the project, whatever we asked to do in the residential part. Some of them will say, I only want my master, bedroom and along with my kitchen. That's all I want. I don't want other, rooms to be touched. So I still, like Carla say, here in Texas, we used to charge from, somewhere from $40 to $60, per hour. That will be like one person. I will send one person just to do that, and depending on the size of the house as well. So, like I say, Carla told us earlier, make sure we count, like the supplies and like the gas, the driving time and all of that into that. That's the way I used to do it in my residential part as well. Just scheduling areas, and if they wanted like that deep cleaning, we will do that, but we will have like some type of, we will customize it for them every time. And on the commercial part, it's just many factors into it. People think because if you're getting let's say a 300,000 square feet, building, oh my god, you're gonna make a lot of money. You're trying to multiply by the square foot feet by 20 cents. That'll be a lot of money. They're not gonna pay for that. In the commercial, it's cheaper, of course, when we price it, because it's easier. And as big as is the building, you're gonna have to lower your square feet, price. For example, like the multi-tenant buildings, that has like, more than 10 floors, people think, oh my God, they make a lot of money. Yes, they do. But like I say, it's no difference between a 300 square feet to a 10,000, 10,000 square feet, you will be able to charge more than if it was more than 100K square feet. Also, we keep on mind, if we are subcontracting this, we want to make sure that we price it right, because we want our subs to, to get paid well, and also they're going to be bringing their supplies and all of that. So we have to count, like Carla say, in the residential, we'll count, the supplies as well, the workers' comp, the general liability for that. And, the formula that we use, and I think it was a formula made, long time ago, but now we kind of like increase it, the production rate. Before it was like a 4,500 to 5,000 square footage. One person can clean that in 1 hour. but now I think it went low to, I believe so, 2,500 right now. You know, because right now it's different, you know. Before we didn't have as many electronics, you know, we didn't have as many computers, we didn't have, you know, more technology into the offices now. So we have to add that now more like the production rate into it. So, you know, we have to have that formula, you know, about 25 to 3,000 square feet, 1 hour. That would be one person production, per person, you know, per hour. So we're taking that in consideration. We take in consideration how much carpet they have, you know, the traffic that they have. Even, you know, if there is more females than males, you know, we tend to use more the restroom, the paper products. So that also increase the price because we have to change a lot of the dispensers, you know. It depends, you know, the people traffic, and if it's a public area where, you know, traffic is going to be coming from the outside. So there is a lot of factors, you know. Every company at one point, once they have all of that study in their building, you know, they can come out with a price. But like I said, every building is different, but we have to take in consideration those factors, you know, number of people, of course, the square feet of the building, you know, if it's more females than males, how much, if we're gonna be buying the supplies for them, even though if they're gonna pay the supplies, we still have to go get the supplies and, you know, bring it back and storage them and everything. So it's a lot of factors that we need to think before, you know, giving a quote to the customer. But every company do it differently. It's very hard to come out with a steady price, you know, for everyone and say, yeah,
Right.
you need to charge this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say I agree with you. There's a lot of different factors with commercial. However, I'm sure, like, you know, like the more accounts that you have or the more walkthroughs that you do, then you have businesses to compare it to, right? So you can say, okay, you know, we have a medical office that's 3,000 square feet and it takes us this much time. But there are a lot more details, like you mentioned. I wasn't even thinking about having to fill up the napkins and the paper products, because in someone's home, you know, you usually go in, you come out. But I would say, you know, with more practice, you'll understand more how
Yeah,
to
we will
price
come
a
out.
commercial.
Everyone is gonna come out later with their own numbers once they are doing these more walkthroughs. You know, as they grow. But like you say, you know, carpet is more easy to maintain than floors, right, Carlita? I mean, because floor, you need to mop it. If otherwise, they're gonna be able to tell that you didn't mop. We cannot skip areas, you know, whenever it's required to be mopped. So we need to keep in mind that um, we need to add that into our overhead expenses and to our production rates and everything like that because it takes
Yeah.
longer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the same with residential. You know, I just gave you guys like just a rough idea. You know, but in residential, the same. If the house is a two-story, you know, you take that in consideration too, because now you have to clean, you know, stair steps, rails. Those are little things that, you know, we don't consider. That's why when a house is 1,500 square feet, you have to ask, is it a 1,500 square feet a single story or is it a two-story? Because you have to add, you know, extra time for the staircases. Because what about if it's a home that it has, you know, 3 levels? You know, I have a client that, you know, she has it's like a tri-level condo. So those are, you know, two separate sets. In homes, if there's not a lot of carpets these days, there's more flooring, you know.
That's
You
true.
cannot, you know, you cannot just mop. There's tricks to mopping. There's a lot of people that they only mop once, and that's just not the proper way to mop, especially in the residential, because you'll have people come, and I'm telling you again, this is out of my own experience. They'll grab a napkin and they'll be like, they'll send you a picture. Carla, your team didn't, you know, didn't mop correctly. So one of the things I started in the commercial when I started in 2006. And what helped me when I got into residential was just the structure of commercial. Commercial, it has a lot of structure versus residential, it's very different. So that's what helped me apply when I went into residential. And so if you're starting in residential with a background of commercial, then that structure is going to help you. If you're starting it backwards, if you're starting in residential to commercial, that's actually a plus for you. That's the way I see it. I don't know if Raquel agrees with me, but I think that's a plus because when we clean homes, we have to clean very thoroughly. So when we're cleaning
Oh yeah,
offices, we want to clean thoroughly too because we think it's almost very similar, but it's not as a home.
Yeah,
I
and
agree
also
with you. Coming from homes is easier into
Yeah.
commercial for sure.
yeah, and also let's make sure, ladies, that when you pricing in commercial, especially if you're gonna invest in machines that are going to be required there, like there is some buildings that they want you to auto scrub, their hallways and things like that. Make sure that you keep on mind those machines in your pricing as well, because if they cancel their contract, like within 1 year, then you're gonna be your expenses are going to be like, you're not going to be able to make your money back because of those machines that you invest in. So make sure, if your building requires for you to have an auto scrubber, or let's say a very expensive vacuum, like those backpacks that that are very expensive, make sure that you also put that on your pricing. At least they buy that in 12 months, and try to put that price in there, so that way you will not lose any money. Otherwise, if you invest in these machines and then for some reason they cancel or something, then you are stuck with that price. I mean, you'll be able to, you're gonna be losing money on that.
That's a
If I
really
may,
good point.
also add to that, Raquel,
Mhm.
I think you and we had probably this conversation a couple years ago. Also, don't forget to add your quality control. I don't know what you guys call it in your department, or your supervision time,
Right.
because that needs to come out from somewhere.
Hmm.
So don't forget, for your commercial, if you have a supervisor inspecting, don't forget to add that time also in your
Hours. It's hours input.
correct, in your monthly fee.
That is correct. Yeah, we need to, like I said, whenever you do a pricing for either or, commercial or residential, just make a checklist of all of your expenses, because if you miss one item, then you're going to be short on your income.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
I have a question because I get asked this a lot. Um, so we know that with the house cleaning, it's a much higher level of cleaning because people live there. You're scrubbing, full bathrooms, cooking grease, body oil, all kinds of pet hair. So you have more room to charge more for house cleaning because of the extensive amount of work. In commercial cleaning, Raquel, is there a sort of medium across the board of like the lowest amount you should or could be charging to the highest, like almost like kind of like, I don't want to say like a nationwide average, but I understand like that you can't charge as much because the scope of work is different, but is there like a range about like where people in the commercial cleaning space charge?
Well, it just depends, again, Carol, of the building. It depends. Like, for example, I went for a walkthrough a couple of weeks ago in the building. They make like bricks, bricks for homes, and they deal with a lot of dust in there. So now, our scope of work is gonna change there, because we
Right.
usually in commercial, we set one day, and then also depends the times of the service that we have a week, but we set one day a week for detail. Like we usually do it on Sundays or on Friday nights, or things like that, at the end of the week or the beginning of the week. So in this case, now we have a building, that we are going to have to detail almost every day because of that traffic,
Mm,
that dust and all of that. They're never going to be happy if you only do the basic. So we need to
right,
price
right.
that too. So it just depends on the building. Like I say, it's just as you go, you will learn. I don't know if Carlita can add that, can add something to that, but that's my experience. It's not like something that we have a set, like, okay, we're gonna charge this
Right.
because like this, and especially
It
like
depends like the scope of work.
yeah, like, and then there is churches, like you can say, oh yeah, they're easy to maintain, but there's few churches that you need to do setups for them, that they have meetings every day, that it's just so hard, to say, you know, okay, this is what I'm going to
There's a
charge
set
for
price.
one church. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
don't know
I
if
think
you want to add into that.
I think the hourly rate should just never change, no matter what. You know, it's because that's just your rate already, so that shouldn't change. But like Raquel said, every office it does have its difference. You know, retail, regular corporate office. I think those are like the easiest one, right, Raquel?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know,
Like class
beauty
A
salons.
buildings. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, beauty salons have a lot of work.
Yeah, because of the
Um,
hair
yeah,
and extended
event hospitals, those have a lot of work.
medical
Um,
offices. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you
so
have to.
so just a regular, you know, regular corporate office, I think those are the easiest ones.
Right.
I personally love the day porters. Raquel knows those are one of my favorites. I have a few clients that we do day porter service. I know Raquel, she's like a queen of those herself. So I think those are the easiest when it comes to commercial. But yeah, and commercial the same. It's just every client is different, just the same as residential. You know,
Yeah.
their needs are different.
Yeah, I think I was thinking more so basic cleaning because a lot of the offices that we have, they are pretty much just basic offices. We do have some like pet grooming facilities, but we don't really do anything where it has to be like an extensive clean. So I could totally understand. Like same thing. It depends on the type of customer and what they're requiring for you to do.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you have that choice. Every company has a choice to find their own niches, you know, like that. If they want just medical offices, if they only want, you know, certain, you know, office, you know, they can right away know, you know, their prices because they're only going to have that kind of environments and not different ones.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in my advice would be if you're starting a commercial company and coming from residential, or just starting new in the commercial industry, just focus on one, you know, area, you know, of buildings. You know, start with maybe medical offices or Class A buildings that are not as hard as, you know, maintaining other buildings. That way you will learn your production rates, you will learn how to price, you know, and then you can move to another, you know, niche of buildings, other industries. But don't start with an industry that is going to be so hard to maintain, like you know, industrial warehouses, you know, things like that, that is going to take you in the beginning a long time to learn. And also it probably be hard for you to price, and you will be end up pricing it cheap, and you're going to be end up losing money. So it's better to start with an industry, study that industry very well, your production rates, your supplies, your overhead costs and everything, and then move forward to the other industries. That
Mhm.
would be my advice.
Awesome. Another form of cleaning that I wanted to just talk about pricing briefly is Airbnb cleaning because that's a total different area of cleaning. And from what I've noticed, and I don't clean Airbnbs, and because I guess I've never gotten the opportunity where it's been a bunch of Airbnbs, right? It's the people that approach me, it's like, oh, I have one or two Airbnbs. Can you clean them? But coming from residential cleaning, what they have been offering me as a business, to me, it doesn't make sense, right? So like, and this could be different, but for you guys, but like I've gotten Airbnb customers that only want to pay us like $80 a cleaning, $140 a cleaning, and for me, that's always been like scary because I'm like, well, $80, like that doesn't seem like much. But again, I know it has to do with the volume. So
Mm-hmm.
Carlita, I know that you both know about Airbnb cleaning. You guys both have your own Airbnb units. So how does that differ? Like, is it because of the volume that they do pay a little bit less for cleaning?
I think you can go two ways with Airbnb. I've tried them both, and both of them work. To be frankly honest, you can sub it out, and or you can also have W-2s. I have W-2s for my Airbnbs. I think I have about two that are subcontractors for our Airbnbs because those are a little bit farther out from us, and it's been working perfectly well. I personally love Airbnbs. Again, it comes down to your numbers. Yes,
Hmm.
Airbnbs is a lot less than residential. Our residential rates are about $50 to $55 an hour. I make sure that when I do my numbers, that it doesn't go under 50. So for example, if we have a one bedroom unit, we're not going to go under $100. And so the way I've structured it, the girls are happy. When I see everybody happy, then that's where I know, things are going well.
Right.
Sometimes, if you guys have done Airbnbs, you know that a one bedroom can easily be done, in 45 minutes, depending how the washer is, of course, and the dryer. There's secrets, there's secrets for you to finish quicker. Sometimes they're done in 45 minutes, a one bedroom, or sometimes it's been done and it could take an hour and a half. So you're like, wow, okay, $100 for an hour and a half. That was pretty good. So the way I've done my Airbnbs is that, I've done them solo the Airbnbs, unless it's like a very, busy routine, then I'll grab a team, just to go do the cleanings, and somebody else will be in charge of the laundry, because you cannot combine that, because because I remember, when we started Airbnbs, I would have like teams of 2 or 3 go into an Airbnb, and they were just standing there waiting for the washer and the dryer, and we're like, oh, okay, this is time lost right here, and it's time lost for the company. So that's what I started learning, as well. And you know what? Also remember this, girls. Airbnb, it's all about volume. If you guys are in LA, you guys know this very big bakery out here in LA that's very well known. It's called Porto's Bakery.
Oh
So
yes.
if you study their model, their pastries are delicious, right, Raquel? You've tried them when you've come to LA.
Yes.
And they're super cheap. And you ask yourself, how does this company, it's a Cuban bakery, how do they manage to sell a dozen of their waba or cheese rolls at this price? Because they sell by volume. So Airbnb is volume. Keep that in mind. Me personally, I'll be like, I don't care if I make $40 for this unit, because if I multiply that by 10, I made $400 already in profits. Profits being behind my desk.
Just think about Sam Walton, that who came out with a wholesaling price,
Exactly.
for Sam's, and now Costco and all of those, it was about volume, selling about volume, and now everybody purchasing there, and that's the way they make money, right? So
Yes.
in my case, I really don't do a lot of Airbnbs. Actually, I did accidentally Airbnbs, not knowing that it was Airbnb when I was doing a little bit of residential. And they were to me like, oh my God, this is so easy. Just like Carlita say, why it took me less than a regular, home that I just did next door. I realized it was an Airbnb, and I didn't even know it was an Airbnb. But also, just let's watch for the price as well. Don't try to go also too low, because, the client is paying for the cleaning anyway. The customer, the owner of the house is not even paying for that. So you'll need to price them correctly. If you're gonna send a person that that is gonna cost you everything, gas and everything, you just price it correctly. And I know Carlita does a lot of Airbnbs, and she does by volume and things like that. But just remember, that the client is not paying for that. The customer or the tenant that is going there for a couple of days is paying for that fee. So just price it correctly. That way you will do another house, a regular home. That's my advice. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't done a lot of Airbnbs, so I don't really have much to say about it. Like I say, I accidentally did some, and they were pretty easy. However, like Carlita say, it made there may be some problems here and there when the washer takes longer, or the dryer takes a little bit longer. And there was one time also, I remember that I didn't know how to put those covers, like I don't know, it took me a long time to figure out how to put those covers. Like you have to change it and put it in the same way. Oh my God, it took me longer. I left it like that. But just make sure that you educate yourself, because they have customers. I mean, the clients will have all types of bedding, there. So make sure that you know everything, so you don't have to waste your time like trying to figure out how is this, fit in here and things like that. Because that was my experience in the beginning. Like, oh my God, I'm already having 30 minutes in here, and I'm only the only person in here. How can I just stretch this, Yeah. So just make sure, that you know how to do all of that. So that way you don't waste, time, and you don't lose money.
Airbnb can be a great niche. If you guys want to know more about it as well, just send me a message and I will be gladly, we can definitely discuss that for residential or Airbnb. Airbnb, I can assure you, once I show you my formula, you'll love it and you can make good money from Airbnb.
And also there is a lot of opportunities, right, Carlita, that you can achieve with that. There will be owners that will ask you, hey, can you manage this for me? Like,
Oh, yes.
buy the snacks and put it for me. So that's extra money that you can make, or different things that you can do for them, or even provide your handyman services to them as well. You can
Correct.
add that services.
This is one of the reasons why it was so hard for me to ever let go either of my Airbnbs or residential cleaning because I have this conversation very frequently with Raquel. Like, if you're in the commercial industry, you must have a cash flow. Cash flow is so important in this industry. Not a lot of people tell you guys this. Sometimes we just get in and oh, well, why hasn't this customer paid? And then guess what? You're gonna have to be paying your people out of your pocket until you get paid. And we will hate for you guys to go through those things that Raquel and I have been through. I'm sure, Carolyn has been through that as well. Paying our people is so important. And, when we're stuck in that part, nobody tells us how to get out of it. Then that's where we have to kind of figure it out. So always make sure you have a service that you're also providing that is like your ongoing cash flow. Even if it's in commercial, you can do window cleaning, you can do power washing. There's so much you can also do in commercial. With residential, there's just so much. We can do window cleaning, like power washing, carpets. There's just a lot to be done.
Even walking the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of things that you can do. It's just try to set your company apart from your competition. What is that you can offer more to your customer that it will set you apart from all the other companies.
Correct.
100%. If you guys found this information valuable that we have shared today, we are going to be having an upcoming event October 24th and 25th in Dallas, Texas. It's going to be 2 full days. Yes, it's coming up soon, you guys. 2 full days of networking, of learning from industry experts. The 3 of us will be speaking along with other experts in the industry, talking about, numbers, we're going to be talking about Airbnbs, residential cleaning, commercial cleaning, hiring. There's going to be a ton of different topics that we're going to be going over again for 2 days in Dallas, Texas, October 24th and 25th. This event is targeted for females in the cleaning industry. We are going to be having other events that are mixed with men and women, but this first event, we are going to do this as a tribute to the women in the cleaning industry. And this is going to be held in Spanish. So if you guys are interested, please be sure to get your tickets. We have the website linked right here on the banner. It's www.mujeresenlalimpieza.com. Hi, Regina. Regina's actually going to be one of the speakers there talking.
Yeah.
So
Hello,
again,
Regina.
hola, Regina. So we're going to have a ton of amazing, amazing business women in the industry who all have either their own cleaning businesses or some type of business within the cleaning industry. We have people coming to talk about post-construction cleaning. I said Airbnb, system. So it's not just going to be, 1 or 2 topics. Again, and these are people that have had experience for years, 20 years plus. Again, all different types of parts of the industry. So be sure to get your tickets at www.mujeresenlalimpieza.com. We do have early bird tickets that we're selling now up until the 15th of July. So you have 5 days, you guys, to grab your tickets at the discounted rate. After the 15th, the price will be increasing by $100. There are a limited amount of seats. So please be sure to grab your tickets again within the next 5 days, so that way you guys lock in to the early bird pricing. If you guys are looking to buy group tickets, so 3 or more, please send one of us a message. We have Raquel, Karla, myself. Let us know, and we will work with you on special group pricing. Again, make sure you guys go get your tickets before the 15th so that you guys do get that early bird special. We're actually going to be heading over and doing another live in 3 minutes. It's going to be in Spanish. So if you guys are interested, be sure to check us out again on all of our channels. We're going to be doing same type of conversation, but in Spanish for our Spanish speaking community. And again, we'll be doing this once a week. We're going to be doing different topics, doing Q&As. So be sure to, follow all of our channels. We all have YouTubes. We have our Instagrams. We have, LinkedIn's, and we will have all of our information linked on the description of this video so that you can not only follow us on Instagram and all the platforms, but if you guys want to book a call with Karla, if you guys want to book a call with Raquel, we all do coaching and one-on-one mentoring. Again, we're all over the US. I'm in New York. Carlita is in California. Raquel is in Texas. So if you're looking to actually work with one of us in person, you guys have the opportunity to do that as well. So thank you guys for joining us. Now we're going to be heading over to our Spanish channels within the next 2 minutes. So we'll see you guys next week, and we hope to see you in October at our event, Mujeres en la Limpieza Unidas.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.